Thermoregulation in deer mice by Eliza McCartney. Homeostasis is how an organism maintains and regulates its internal environment through internal control systems and mechanisms when the external environment varies. Homeostasis consists of three control mechanisms which act in stages to regulate the internal environment. The receptors act first by monitoring and detecting any fluctuations from the normal range. The processor then receives information from the receptors and passes instructions through to the effector, which makes the changes to return the system back to its normal range. The control system I will be analysing is thermoregulation. Thermoregulation is the ability to maintain constant internal body temperature within certain boundaries. This is important as enzymes can only operate in a very small temperature range, and when this range is exceeded, the enzymes denature and can no longer assist important life processes, hence causing death. The rate of all chemical reactions in the body are dependent on temperature, so maintenance is vital. The species I have chosen to study homeostasis on is the deer mouse. Deer mice are found in America and Canada in all types of habitats, but are known to live in colder areas such as on mountains at high altitudes. Here temperatures can reach down to -25 degrees Celsius and below. They are nocturnal and spend the day in burrows or trees where they have nests made of plant material. Their most common predators are snakes, owls, cats, foxes, skunks, and weasels. Being omnivores, they will mainly consume seeds, fungi, leaves, and fruit, but also insects, spiders, and caterpillars. Thermoregulation is relevant to deer mice as living at reasonably high altitudes results in a colder environment. They are also nocturnal, so need to deal with the extreme temperatures of the night. Deer mice are more suited to cold temperatures as means of regulating high body temperatures are restricted. This is due to being covered in fur, not able to pant as they do not breathe out of their mouths, and having sweat glands only on the pads of the feet, which is only a small surface area of the body to lose heat through. When temperatures rise, they are likely to act behaviourally and resort to shade or shelter, and will often stand more upright to expose more body surface to the air. Thermoregulation is therefore vital to the survival of deer mice as they do not handle the warmer temperatures as well. This is shown by symptoms of hypothermia beginning to develop at approximately 34 degrees Celsius. Body temperature is similar to humans, being 37 degrees Celsius. Being small animals in an often challenging environment results in many situations arising daily where the internal body temperature of the mice will need to be regulated either from overheating or lack of heat. With many predators around, deer mice will often need to escape from predators in a hurry. Being chased quickly increases the internal body temperature, which needs to be dropped back down to normal ranges of 37 degrees Celsius and regulated. Quite often, the night sky will be clear with no clouds. This results in a colder night as heat is not able to be trapped in by the clouds. This can easily cause the mice to experience a drop in body temperature, which needs to be regulated by increasing the body temperature. A negative outcome of the feedback loop will confirm that the body temperature has been regulated and is reaching the normal ranges again. When the internal temperature of the deer mice increases, the process of thermoregulation will begin to regulate the body temperature and bring it back down to the normal ranges. This is achieved through a feedback loop which is made up of individual control systems, each working together to regulate the internal temperature. The stimulus for the feedback loop is the increase in body temperature due to being chased by predators. The receptors detect this rise in temperature. These are the thermoreceptors in the hypothalamus. This is a small section of the brain that connects the nervous system to the endocrine system via the pituitary gland. The hypothalamus monitors the internal temperature from the blood as it passes through the brain. The processor then takes this information from the receptors. The processor is the preoptic area in the anterior of the hypothalamus, which is the thermoregulatory center for the body temperature. The link between the nervous and endocrine system allows nerve signals to be sent to activate cooling mechanisms. The effector makes the changes needed in order to cool the body. In this case, it is the skin blood vessels. These dilate, vasodilation, to allow more blood and therefore heat to flow through them near the surface of the skin, especially at the extremities, which is the tail and the paws. Salivary glands release more saliva, but the mouse will not pant like other animals as they do not breathe out of their mouths. Sweat glands and paws release more sweat. If necessary, the mice can also undergo torpor, which will be explained later. The response is that the heat the body is producing is moved to the surface due to the skin blood vessels dilating, allowing heat to radiate from the skin. As the saliva and sweat evaporates, heat is released with it also. The result is the outcome of the feedback loop. This is a negative response. As the excess heat is lost, the body temperature is reduced and brought back to the normal ranges. Enzymes and chemical reactions can function normally. Just like when the body temperature increases, a decrease will result in thermoregulation taking place. The feedback loop achieves the same outcome of regulating the body temperature, but this is achieved differently as the temperature needs to rise rather than drop. Here, the stimulus is the decrease in body temperature by a cool, clear night. The receptor is again the thermoreceptors in the hypothalamus. The processor is the preoptic area in the anterior of the hypothalamus, where the nerves send signals to activate heating mechanisms. The effector in this case is piloerection, which is where the fur is erected on its end. This is due to the erectors pylori muscles, which are attached to the hair follicles of mammals. These muscles contract, causing the hair to stand on its end. Also, skin blood vessels constrict, vasoconstriction, which decreases the blood flow near the skin and keeps it towards the core and deeper tissue. The response is the piloerection causing air to be trapped between the furs and the skin, which can then be heated by the body. Also, constricting the skin blood vessels reduces heat loss through the radiation from the skin. The result is a negative response as the heat generated by the body is conserved and less is lost through radiation to the external environment. Enzymes can function properly and chemical reactions can be carried out correctly. The body temperature is increased and brought back to the normal range. Deer mice are nocturnal and retreat back to their nests during the day. These nests are found in trees or burrows and made from plant material which can easily be destroyed by other animals. If their nests are destroyed, the mice have no shelter from the heat of the day. As explained earlier, increasing body temperature is harder to regulate for deer mice, which is why shelter during the day is vital. Having their nest destroyed is a major disruption to the deer mice, which can dangerously increase their internal temperature, which needs to be regulated through thermoregulation. A feedback loop will take place to attempt to regulate the internal temperature. This feedback loop is very similar to the previously explained feedback loop for an increase in temperature. The only difference is the result. The stimulus is the increase in body temperature due to prolonged exposure to the sun. As before, the receptors are the thermoreceptors and the processor is the preoptic area in the anterior of the hypothalamus where the nerves send signals to activate cooling mechanisms. The effector is the skin blood vessels which dilate, vasodilation, allowing blood to flow through them to the extremities and surface of the skin. Salivary glands release more saliva and sweat glands and pores release more sweat. Again, torpor can occur, which is explained later. The response is that the heat the body is producing is moved to the surface where it can radiate off. The saliva evaporates, releasing excess heat with it, and the sweat evaporates, cooling the skin temperature and releasing excess heat with it also. The result is some loss in heat, but at not a fast enough rate to lower the body temperature. This is because the mice can only release a small amount of sweat and panting is not an option. This leaves heat to be lost through radiation, but even this is limited as the mice are covered in fur, which traps some of this heat. As a result, the internal temperature still remains too far above the normal range of 37 degrees Celsius. Chemical reactions can no longer take place, and enzymes begin to denature and can no longer catalyze vital life processes. This is therefore a positive response, and the animal may die. Thermoregulation is a homeostatic control system which within it has several control mechanisms allowing for the body temperature to be regulated quickly and efficiently. The effectiveness of the system results in less energy and time being used towards maintaining the body temperature, as there is an efficient system constantly able to do this already. As the deer mice live in an environment with a large range of temperatures, being able to thermoregulate is an adaptive advantage to the animal. The surplus of time and energy can be put towards other important activities like finding a mate, reproduction, or scavenging for food. Being able to thermoregulate in environments where temperature is constantly changing has helped the species to survive and be abundant in many different habitats. As mentioned earlier, deer mice are one of the few animal species that are able to undergo torpor. Torpor is where an animal reduces their physiological activity over a short period of time, usually by reducing body temperature or metabolic rate. It can be described as short-term hibernation. Most animals that undergo daily torpor will do so overnight for only a few hours. By doing this, energy is conserved by burning less calories and the internal body temperature is lowered by a few degrees. As deer mice are nocturnal, they will undergo torpor during the day. This helps prevent the deer mice from overheating, especially during summer. Burning less calories also allows a surplus of energy which can then be used in thermoregulation to maintain the internal environment. Overall, torpor is a well-controlled thermoregulatory process which serves as an extra way to lower the body temperature, which is critical to the deer mice as they cannot lower their body temperature as well as they can raise their body temperature, as explained earlier. This adaptive advantage helps the species survive through hot summers and again has allowed them to become abundant in many habitats.